Okay, good afternoon, folks. Hope everyone is well. Sorry I'm running a little late. Okay, so market has just opened. Okay, Indy, how you doing, buddy? Sorry, I was just running a little bit late there. I was just messing around doing a few things. So, what's going on here today? A little bit of sideways, I think, to start. Nothing too spectacular. Chris, how you doing, bud? So we have had some news this morning. Didn't really do a great deal. We've got some at 3 o'clock UK time. And we got Powell speaking around about 10 past 5 UK time. Probably be done before that anyway. But we do seem to just have some sideways. I thought we may get another leg down. We still may, but... Yeah, my little Luke. I'll get rid of that. Okay. Not sure why that's highlighted for some reason. Indy, how you doing? I'm excellent. Okay, as you've probably noticed, the 80% off has been extended for the whole of April, so that's pretty good. 80% off and 1 day to pass, so that's right the way to the end of the month. So I was surprised they did that, actually. I don't know why they don't just put 80% around off the board, 8% and minimum amount of days. Would make life easier. So at the moment, it's just sideways. Not a lot of volume again overnight. Well, not on the 2000 tick chart anyway. Let's have a look at yesterday. I didn't take a trade yesterday. Funny old day. It went sort of sideways, but up a little bit, and there just wasn't. The only ones that I would have marked, Mac marked as well, was that one there. That little 2 legs up and a very small risk, and that failure there. I wasn't sure about that at the time. When it starts to go a bit choppy, it knocks your confidence a bit. And there was that one triple test. I actually mentioned those 3 that I could sort of see, really. 1, 2, 3. But funny old day yesterday, I got to say. We seem to be getting more and more of those. So, H, how you doing, bud? So let's see how we get on today. See if we can finally get some sort of trade on the board there. So it looks like a little fell break out of a range. I thought we may get another full leg down here. But it doesn't seem to be the case. Let's just put that there because that seems to be playing a part. But we've had a little break there, so maybe, I don't know, we'll see. So, okay, so we made 2 legs there. I did look at that one, a triple test. I was trading, before I came, I was trading through, really, I was trading an evaluation, actually. And I went long there on that higher low. I looked at that one on the higher low, and I was going to try and get out there, and it triggered me and stopped me out. So it can be a ball ache when it's like this, it really can. That's why I was a little bit late, actually. I was just switching everything over. 3 trades early this morning, buying these range lows. Yeah, knowing news is coming. You have the confidence it will range a bit. Yeah, you're probably right, bud. That one would have worked. I actually went for the higher low just to the tops, and it didn't work. That's the trouble, really. You never quite know how far these things are going to go, but let's have a look. So I think this is probably as good as range tops have we got at the moment. That's just a bit of a fell breakout, and we had the same there. You almost took that one too. Yeah, I actually really liked it. Not only that, it looked like we were trapping them shorts. We had a leg down, a couple of attempts up. I thought there's going to be shorts in there, and it went up 1 tick above that and came down. So whether, if there was shorts there, maybe they got the stops out here, or I don't know, maybe. But I thought the way that finished, I thought it's like a tick away from that. I thought that was a good trade to take, especially as we come off the bottom. It looked like a triple test, but it only went up to these highs here. So what do? See, there's a lower high there. We've got 2 nice legs and a lower high, but where's the top here? That's the trouble. Now, is that a channel? I don't think it really matters either way, but it hasn't triggered anyway. But I mean, ideally, really, it wants to break above here, you'd think. It's not my strong point, picking tops and bottoms. Trouble is, we've got a channel break and a new high and a lower high there, but you don't know whether it's going to turn there. You don't know whether it's going to turn here. So it's just a bit too much for me, that, really. Speedy, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, so it was a boring old day yesterday. We seem to be getting lots of those lately. These sort of sideways stuff, which are hard to trade because they're not really very clear. They just seem to whip around. It's done it a bit this morning, but yeah, I get it if you'd have taken that one. Trouble is, that's the trouble sometimes. Sometimes these work quite nicely. They started working quite nice. And then we bounced up and only got this high. It might have been because that wasn't a great bar. If that body would have been sat on top of there, it may have reacted a bit different. Okay. Let's say that's a channel for now. I mean, it actually really doesn't really matter. If you've got a channel and it hits this top, it'll just turn sometimes. Obviously, a lot of times we expect to break in a new high, but in ranges, sometimes if the channel keeps pushing right to the top, it'll just turn. So, I mean, whether that's a channel or not, who knows, but it's certainly a leg, a little channel with a break, 2 pushes to a new high, so it's hard to say whether something like this is going to continue up or whether it's going to turn there, but we've had a little bit of a breakout. Sometimes we'll get the same at the top, but I consider that there, leg down, 2 attempts and a there, but you just don't know whether bearish bars here are going to work or not. I know there's a channel, but it's more about range rules, I think, at the moment, isn't it? So I doubt you'd have taken that one anyway. It's not the best looking bar at the bearish bar at the top. So I wouldn't be surprised if that pushes higher than there. Now let's see what happens. I'm going to get rid of that. If it is a channel, we're right at the top of it there, and we're coming further back and further back. So if it is a channel, I'd expect it to probably break. So it depends how you look at this. I mean, you could adjust this to slightly like this and it kind of fits as well. Or it's triggered above that bar, so it could come down. I really don't know at the moment when it's like this. It's just hard. So it looks like it's had a break. Depends how you draw this. You could readjust this, but we've got a touch, and it looks like we've had a break followed by a new high. So it'd be nice to trap some longs and then get a lower high. Trouble is, you just don't know whether it's going to turn here or not. I was hoping that would trigger. Be interesting to see what happens now. Bar's enough anyway. Trouble is, if you went short here, it could come down and create two legs before it goes up. Trouble is, it's been up to here and it's been up to here before. It's just so hard to know what to do here. I mean, we've had a break, new high. There is a lower high. 15-year. Just, it looks like it's struggling to go down. I don't know. Who knows? I'm not taking it anyway at the moment. It's a little bit sideways. It might work, it might not, but it does seem to be trying to push up. So it's congested anyway. So the simple answer is leave it alone. It's trying to push. It looks like it's flickering towards the upside. So I don't know. Who knows? It's not a trade for me anyway. JP, how you doing, mate? Yeah. Medium impact doesn't really do a great deal, in all fairness. That's the one I'd expect to. I mean, there was a bit of flickering, so whether that was it or not, I don't know. But it just doesn't ever seem to do a great deal, medium impact news. But it's certainly useful to be aware of it. Okay, so depending on how you look at that, break, a short channel up break with a new high. We may have trapped some more longs there, maybe a bearish bar. I don't know. The NQ looks like it's working down at the moment. Let me just see if there's something bigger on the NQ. That's a bit. It's a bit of a guesswork, that is. So leg. We've had 2 legs down, I think, haven't we? It's just too choppy at the moment, really. It is frustrating, I've got to say. There's definitely a lack of setups lately. There really is. I was looking back at some of my older charts and I was marking 2 to 4 a day. Obvious ones, and for some reason it's just, they've almost dried up. I mean, seeing a really classy second entry nowadays is like you got more chance of seeing a bloody dodo fly past your window. So we've got that news coming up. So there is a bearish bar there, which is broken above there. Is that going to come down? Who knows? May do, may not. But at the moment, for me, that's guesswork. Yeah, it's at the top here. So, you know, we've had a break at the bottom. Maybe expect to come down. But to me, it looks like it's trying to push up. I just get that impression there's more buyers in there than sellers. Because it sort of keeps flickering to the upside. Whether there's anything in that or not, who knows? But we have got some high impact news, the ISM services, which is at around about 12 minutes. So it's probably not wise to get into a trade here anyway, because it's going sideways. It may continue here for a while. Who knows? I don't know. And there may be a bigger channel here. You know, that's always a possibility. There may be a spike in a channel. Who knows? Could be something like that. I'm not sure really at the moment. That's interesting, that is. I'd expect something that big. A lot of sellers there to work, although I'm not getting involved in it. But that's the type of thing I think you'd expect to work. I mean, it's literally engulfed a lot of that. See whether it depends how you look at this. We've had a break, new high, 2 more attempts to go higher, followed by a big bearish bar. It's 13 ticks, so I'm not interested. Tick above, tick below. It's like 15 ticks. It's nearly 4 points. It's just too risky, that is, especially when it's congested anyway. And we've got the news approaching in 10 minutes. Now, what I will say is 1, 2, 3. You could consider that a triple test, actually. That's interesting. 1, 2, 3. That is interesting. Trouble is, when it's sideways, it really could do anything. I'm just identifying stuff that may be a trade, but I'm not trading it. Not only have we got the news. Did you do? I didn't last night, bud, but I am going to do one tonight. Yeah, I'm going to do one. I'm going to do one with the 1,000 tick NQ. And I'll see how that goes. But it just interests me, the fact that the Penguin trader is trading that. I would say, personally, the point system is different on the NQ. Now, as we know, if I came down from the 2000 to the 1000 tick, the ATR would come down by half, which means the bars are smaller, so it kind of drops the risk to a degree. So I like the idea of trading the 1000 tick chart. If I'm looking at the 1000 tick chart at the moment, the ATR is 1.4. So it's a lot easier, I think, to work out profits and risks. But the trouble is, I'm used to this. I've been trading this for nearly 3 years now, so I'm used to. You can just tell how big the bar is and what your risk is going to be. You know, your average risk is usually going to be around about 2 3/4 points, somewhere around about there. I couldn't tell you the average risk on the NQ. I'd have to play around with it a little bit, but I mean, yeah, give me an idea, you guys. If you were trading if you NQ guys, if you were trading 1000 tick NQ, so let's try and have a comparison. If I'm going for 2 points on the ES 2000 tick chart, what would you compare that to on the 1000 tick chart to give me sort of similar profits? I just want to, get the similar sort of risk, whether I'm trading, whether I've got to reduce. I'm pretty sure if I trade the 2000 tick chart, the NQ, I've got to at least go down to one contract of an night to match the 2 contracts on the ES. But I think it's a matter of playing around with it. In fact, I'm just going to get the sim. Why is it not letting me? So. So the ATR on the NQ 1000 tick chart is at 9.82. So let me just have a look. If I measure that bar there on one contract, that's 2. Yeah. So just have a look here. So if I'm looking at the, let's make this a bit smaller, the 1000 tick chart of the NQ. Sorry about that. If I'm looking at, say, maybe a bar like that, which seems like the average size bar, this is for trading one contract. If I put a tick below there to a tick below there, it's around about $230. The trouble, the awkward thing is sometimes when you think you've got, it's hard to know a tick. So a tick is around about there, isn't it? Something like that. So it's around about $230 on one contract. If I was going for that bar there on one contract, that would be almost similar to 2 contracts on the ES. So yeah, that's interesting. That. So if you went for, say, let's say for instance 12 points would be your risk. Let's say 12 points would be a risk. That would be an average 3 bars, 3 points. So perhaps you would go for maybe an 8 point profit. So 8 point profit would be about there. If you went short there, yeah. So I'd say one contract on here on the 1000 tick chart will give you the same sort of risk as 2 contracts on the ES chart. So that's a little bit easier to work out. So did that work for that 2 points? I don't think it did it? that triple test, mind you. Where did I go from? So there's a tick, and there's a tick. So it wouldn't have quite given me 2 points, that triple test. 1, 2, 3. I mean, it ain't over yet, but it's. I wouldn't trade this anyway, in all fairness. But 1, 2, 3. So let me just switch it over to. How many?
Order filled.
It's all right. I've just thrown an order in, just on a sim. That's all. Just to try and work out how I've got this set. So that's one contract.
Target filled.
Okay, so that whatever it was set gave me $50, and that was 10 ticks. So, how many ticks in a point on the NQ? Anybody know? Let's try this. One contract, save. 4 ticks is a point. Okay, so the point system is about 3.5 times, isn't it? So if you went for 8, you maybe go for $20 a point. Okay, so 10 points. Maybe you go for 10 points, which would be 40 ticks. Let's just
Order filled.
Again. I've just thrown another one in. Let's see what profit this gives me if it does. I'm looking for around about the $200. It's going to need to be a bit more than that, isn't it?
Target filled.
Yeah, so that gave me $100 there. So was that one contract? I got that as, yeah, one contract. So let's say you go for 40 ticks. Let's just do that, see how that works out. So 40 ticks. Okay. Let's just
order filled.
There. That's quite, yeah, that's way more, isn't it, mind you? So I'm ignoring a minute. I'm not trading anyway the minute this news is approaching. So let's have a look. So that would give us $150 risk on NQ, and that would give us $200 profit. One contract. So, quite a lot, that is.
Order filled.
I multiply everything by 4 since you aim for 2 points, 36 ticks. Okay, that makes sense. So let's customize this. So going for 30, what do we say? 32 ticks profit. What would your stop be? Somewhere around about the 40 ticks, wouldn't it? Obviously you adjust it, don't you? Or maybe 45 ticks. So let's put it at 45 ticks. Save this. So this is one contract. So one contract. Let's see. Okay, this is the news. So in it, what do we say? 32. So 32 profit. 45 stop. Let's save that just for the hell of it. Let's see how that works. That's when you want to be in a long trade, isn't it? Still the same, but I don't go by max rule of 1 tick on the NQ. I've noticed a lot of trades push up, tick past the signal bar. Yeah, it does take a little bit of getting used to, doesn't it? But I suppose when you've been doing it for a while, it's pretty straightforward, is it? Okay.
Order filled.
Trade just for the fun of it on a sim. What's this making me? Or losing me?
Stop filled.
Okay, so that lost me about $200, somewhere around about there. I'll try again when it gets a bit slower. So we're on minus 65.
Order
So
filled.
let's go along there. Obviously, you've got to adjust your signal bar. It's more about the profit, I think. Well, signal bar is obviously important. See, I usually go for 2 points and risk somewhere about 2 3/4. So I'm trying to get something similar. It's just a matter of playing around, really.
Target filled.
Yeah, okay, so that was minus. So that gave me around about $150 there. And that's on one contract. I want it a little bit more, really. So let's say we go for 40-point profit, 50-point stop. Multi-point. Obviously, the stop will be flexible on it. So say a 50-point stop. Save. Okay. Let's have a look at this. So some positive news there anyway. So if you decided to go for a if you decided to trade that on with 2 evaluations, it's got to go for 6 1/4 points. That has which that bar comfortably did come to. So if you'd have put a long and a short in here, you'd have it's quite a good way of actually passing an evaluation if you wanted to do it quick. Obviously, this is where it sort of started, didn't it? So if you dropped a long there and a short on the same chart, but on a same settings, but on a different chart, one will win, one will lose. But that bar went comfortably enough quickly, so you'd have passed that straight away. So it's not a bad way of doing it, really. Obviously, you're going to win one and lose one, but a 50% strike rate, if you want to pass it quick, isn't bad. I can tell you now, my win rate on evaluations isn't 50%. It's less because I just trade them silly, sometimes a little bit careless. So it's probably a good way for me to pass evaluations quickly. This, if I want, if I just want to get up to PA.
Order filled.
On a sim. So that would be more there, wouldn't it? In fact, let's close this.
Order filled. Order submitted.
On market. Let's say I bought there, 1 tick above that. Yeah.
Order filled.
Let's say I buy 1 tick above the signal bar there. That's where my stop would be. So I'm looking for around about the $200 here on one contract.
Target filled.
Yeah, that's similar actually. Or even 1-to-1 I don't think will be bad. That's where the ATR comes in and they basically use the ATR to make risk, yeah. So at the moment, the ATR is 4 times what it is here. Yeah, so it's 4 times. So if I'm going for, say, 8 ticks here, 1632 would be about right, wouldn't it? I lost 225 evals earlier today after going long and short, did you? There was a 5-tick window, which... Yeah, sometimes it does that. It whips up and down quickly, doesn't it? I don't know what causes that, because you tend to think if the news is generally good news, it goes up and vice versa. Obviously, that was very one-sided. I mean, it literally crossed over and woof up it went. Yeah, it doesn't always work. How did it know to reverse? Yeah, I don't quite know how it works, but sometimes it does whip up and down, doesn't it? So if it went through your profit quick and came back, sometimes it might not trigger it. I found if it hits your stop, no matter what speed it's going, it cancels the trade, but sometimes it can go through your profit and come back. Someone's making some money there, aren't they? So
Order
okay, so I'm going
filled.
to try it here again. That's where I'd put that anyway. So if I was going to buy that bar there, that's where I would put that. It's all right, you can't see it on here properly because it's the 1,000 tick chart, but we're bringing it in. Yeah, if I was going to take a long trade there, that's kind of where you'd buy it, and that's kind of where I need to add that. What's it here, don't I? Which tells me. Let's put that out of the way a minute. I think it's called order line decorator, isn't it? I think so. Apply. Okay. It's not showing at the moment for some reason.
Order filled.
I don't know why it's not
Order
showing it.
filled.
It's not showing it on the end there for some reason. I wonder why.
Stop filled.
Strange. It's called order line decorator, isn't it? I'm pretty sure it is. That's it there, yeah it is. So why is it not showing? Just take a photo. Should I get the settings right? Order gap, where's that? Displacement 50. Okay.
Order filled.
Ah, that's better. Sorry, you guys can't see what I'm looking at, can you? Yeah, it's okay. It's easier if you've got this. It's much easier to work out straight away. So I've got my sort of risk set to $250 on one contract. Now, obviously, you've got to adjust that, but that seems to be about right. So it's just a matter of playing around with it, really. So I'll close that just for a minute, concentrate on what I'm doing.
Order filled.
And I'll just, if any trades come up, I'll just take them on a sim there. Okay, what are we seeing here? This news is gone for sure, so we've had a push up. Are we now going to make a bigger move? Who the hell knows? Okay, excuse me just for a quick minute. I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break. I'll be back. Okay. Hoping we're going to get a correction, leg and a leg. Hopefully, maybe something like that, or a spike in a channel. Just going to put that there just in case we come down there and there is something larger working there. So I'm just putting that there, all-time highs, just in case we get close to it. The way that's sitting there may be something larger there. We shall see. Looks like a bit of an overshoot there, and we're at the top of what looks like this, so we could get a move down here. This is slow again. Oh, this is boring the arse off me. This is slow, isn't it? Push up sideways, push up sideways. This thing just doesn't want to slow down, does it?
Order submitted. Order filled.
I've got a bit of a evaluation left. There's not a lot in it, so I'm trading that on this
Order filled.
on the 1,000 tick chart. See if I can't be cheeky and pick up some points here for free.
Order filled. Order filled.
Come on, get up, you bugger. Come on, get up. That's stupid. Push up. Come on. Don't come down. Get up.
Order filled.
Come on, push up. Come on, let's have this beer. Come on. I am crap at trading evaluations. Just useless at them. Come on, push up, you blooming thing.
Order filled.
Absolutely useless. Kind of looks like 1, 2, 3, a triple test. Let's see what the size is like.
Order submitted.
No, it's just too
Order
congested.
cancelled.
Just could stitch you up here. It's just horrible price action, I gotta say. Absolutely horrible. There possibly is something bigger. I don't know. Hey Sean, how you doing? Yeah, I am a little bit, I suppose. It just seems to be never ending, this bad price action, doesn't it? Yeah, I'm all right, mate. I won't take nothing silly. But yeah, it just does seem to be forever just chop, doesn't it? Hard to trade all that, then the push up, and it is a bit frustrating. And this, it's just whipping around, isn't it? It just seems to be a lot lately. Yeah, I won't do anything silly. Apart from on the valuations, I tried to trade those like an absolute idiot. I'm going to have to stop them. I'm going to have to stop it. I just go silly on an evaluation. I shouldn't do, really. Maybe. What time is it? 5:10 UK time. Possibly. I mean, it is moving. It's just it needs to sort of settle somewhere, really, where we can sort of see, that's a possibility. But really, till I believe, I mean, it's touched 3 times there. I really want it to come down to here before I even consider that, really. Trading that long. You just don't know. I mean, we had that initial push up, then we had sort of a bit of a pullback, and then we went up again, and we're going a bit sideways. You never know whether it's going to level off and come down. It just seems frustrating lately. Just going back a couple of years to what it used to be like, I don't know why it's so different. Why is there such less setups? I don't quite get it. Which doesn't seem to make. I wish I understood why. Why there seem to be so many more setups, 18 months ago. There is a second entry short there. I'd expect that to work a lot of the times when it does this. I'm not sure about the bigger uptrend. I'm not taking it, but I'd expect that to make a new low somewhere down here. We'll see. Well, got that wrong. Okay, I'm just going to take a quick 5-minute break, make a cup of tea. Stretch my legs a bit. There we go. Okay. Okay, quick 5-minute break, and I'll be back. Okay. No, bud. No, nothing. It's just been hard to trade, to be honest with you. A little bit of chop here, and then we had that sort of push up. We had one drop, and then we turned. There's nothing really. It just seems to be the story lately. It just seems to be a lot of this. So hopefully, the trouble is, where's it going? When's it going to come down? That's the trouble. You don't know when it's going to turn. It's struggling now. We're going to get a big correction. It's just so hard to say. I'm not even a massive fan of that at the moment, although it is touching 3 places, but it needs to come down here really. So, I mean, we certainly seem to be moving up. But I don't know. It's hard when it's like this. The price action is just crap. It is. It's just horrible. I mean, looking at the NQ, we've got sort of 2 legs up at me, a leg, and we're going a bit sideways now, creeping up slightly. Let's see if sometimes this gives us a better picture. See, we're not far off a measured leg there. Come down a fraction. I mean, this is a bit clearer. We got a touch. It looks more of a channel this. In fact, I don't even think it does. It's just 2 legs up, really. It's just a leg and a leg. It's nothing really. The trouble is, there's nothing really. If I look through this, it's just all congested there. Then you have a bit of a move up there. But there's a bit of a failure there, but you can't go long into that. How far is it going to go? How far is a piece of string? You don't know whether it's going to continue on up or whether it's going to drop down and maybe confirm this bigger channel. I'm just a bit fed up lately, I think, because it's just so... There just doesn't seem to be trades. They've almost just disappeared. It's annoying. You take time. I've taken 3 years of my life obsessed with trading this strategy, and now I'm getting to somewhere where I've got enough skill to make money. The flipping trades disappeared almost. Not good day to trade with the news. Yeah, maybe. You're probably right. I think I'm just a bit fed up because, you spend a lot of time doing this, and all of a sudden, by the time I get to the level where I'm starting to actually be able to hold an account now, and my psychology seems to be doing really well, all of a sudden, it's like the trades have just disappeared. I know it happens sometimes. But it's just a bit frustrating lately. They just, where's the trades? The setups. I mean, Mac's been trading this strategy for 25 years. And I don't know, I really can't see any setups. You may have taken that as a triple test, that one maybe. I don't know. I wouldn't have taken that one personally. I would prefer that body sat like that. But we've got a leg down there with a few attempts higher. There's a triple test there. So, it's still a bit congested. And obviously there was news pending. You may take that one. You may say 1, 2, triple test there, but how far does it go before it all of a sudden comes down and stops you out? Yeah, I mean, it's pushing it, and obviously the trouble is you get into something like that, it's not worth it because you're stuck in there. All of a sudden, woof, the news. So we push up there. You can't trade there. Nothing there. We come straight back down. You can't trade that. We got a channel down there. You don't know whether it's going to... Because sometimes we have these pushes up And then within no time, we could have had a leg and recovered most of it. And then it pushes up like that, bit of an overshoot, you know. And then we come down, then we go into this range, and then we're very slowly working up. The trouble is, sometimes when it's doing that, it gets your patience and you jump in and all of a sudden, wham, it drops down. So it needs to correct itself after this, really, before it's going to continue up. We can't have this slow growth. The slower it goes up, the quicker it comes down. That's my sort of take of it. My worry is the lack of setups is due to algos. Differences. It's in the past. Will Mac's strategy disappear? Well, he's been training for over 25 years. It seems not to think so, but textbook, yeah, you really don't, do you? And you just can't trade this. I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's like saying every strategy sooner or later will come to an end. I can't see it. Yeah, maybe. We're a way away from it, yeah. All-time highs is up here yet. We've still got a little bit to go. But it's, I don't know, if I look back on some of my old charts. See, you say algorithms. So algorithms are basically almost filtering out any possible setups. The trouble is, if there's no setups, people don't trade. So it kind of, you sort of kind of have to have one. You can't have one without the other, sort of thing, if I'm making any sense. The trouble is, there's Mac's strategy. There's millions of them, really. There's thousands of different strategies. And it'd be like saying, okay, well, every strategy, sooner or later, the algorithms fizzle them out. But then people wouldn't trade. So I just don't get it. It doesn't mean market structures don't change. No, absolutely. I mean, my general thoughts of it is you adapt with the markets, you know. You just adapt with it. If you're here trading every day, I think the changes are subtle and you sort of work with them. I think that's what I think. You know what I mean? And yeah, there may not have been as many as there was. You know, like I've said before, I would be happy with 3 winning trades a week. If I can get 3 winning trades, that would give me the ability to earn plenty of money. You know, the trouble is, if the algos worked and literally fizzled out every single strategy, you know, every time we got a bullish bar, it triggered it, came down and took it out. You wouldn't be able to go long or short, would you? So I don't know. Do you change your strategy? I've heard people experience say all strategies work. It's the person. Yeah, sometimes there might not be great trades. I don't know. I mean, maybe that's market moves do. True, yeah, but it's really getting in with them, isn't it, and waiting for them to sort of move the markets, isn't it? But I don't know. Jump. Yeah, we do. Yeah. I don't know. You just have to sort of go with it and see what happens. And I think it's just being prepared for a trade when it comes along. I mean, if I look at yesterday, now, there was a setup there now that was close to the open, and it was moving pretty quick. Where was that? We had this big leg down, like Matt was showing. You can't really get into it. You may have a go at something like that because it triggers some longs. And then there was 2 legs in a very small bar, but it's moving that quick, and sometimes you don't have time to think, and when you see that, it literally moves across, pushes up, and comes. It doesn't take long. And same with the triple test there. You got a leg down. You don't know whether we're going to have attempts to go up again and then come down. So it's just, you know, you've really got to be prepared to jump in and jump in quick. You know what I mean? But I certainly think it's good to find extra setups, sort of extra strings to your bow. I noticed something a couple of weeks ago that the market was doing, and someone said it's actually a strategy that Al Brooks uses. For instance, something like this. Whenever you get a channel like that, and we seem to get a bearish bar within that channel, if you just bought there, it pushes up. Same again, another one bearish bar there. If you bought there, it did come back a bit, but it pushed up. But same with that one really, if you just bought that one. But I think they're better when they finish on their low. So if we're in a small trend this sort of size, whenever we end up getting something like that, a bearish bar which finished close to its low, it crosses over and pushes up. It's probably easier to see it on here, but same again, we had that channel there. We had a bearish bar. If you just buy that, it pushed up. Now, obviously, it's not these strategies look a lot simpler than they really are. They take time to work and to practice. You see what I mean? We got a channel there and a bearish bar. What happened? It crosses over, pushed up. I see this a lot, and I mentioned it a week or two ago. Same again there. We're into a channel there, bearish bar, crosses over, pushes up. I mentioned it a couple of weeks ago, and someone said it's an Al Brooks strategy, or one of his strategies. So I think it's good to learn extra setups, not completely change your strategy. You know, someone experienced told me, find a strategy that works and stick with it and learn it well. But I think it's okay to add extra setups to it. You know, if you see something happening all the time, then backtest it on a sim alongside what you're doing now. And if you find out it's working, you know, 7 or 8 times out of 10, you can trade it for 1-to-1, you know, then maybe try it on a small account for a bit. But I think we develop with the market. The more you sit here day by day, you'll notice things and notice patterns. And I think you naturally develop your own style of doing things. You trade pullbacks, enter small, as if it goes your way. Yeah, I think there's so many different ways of trading, isn't there? So I definitely think when you've been doing this a while, add certain setups. You know, find a sort of setup that works and add it to your portfolio of setups, you know. But, you know, like I mentioned, that type of thing where we get... It seems to work best in this type of size. Maybe not so much this, but this type of size, if you've got a bullish bar there, all of a sudden it tends to cross over and come down. But, you know, if you can do that 1-to-1, but as I say, if I can get 3 2-point wins throughout a week, it doesn't sound difficult. It's not, you know, it's relative. You can be optimistic about getting that. You know, trading 2 contracts, it's an average of $600. Even if you say $500 a week, it's $2,000 a month. If you've got multiple accounts, you know, you can make all the money you need, really. So you don't need a tremendous amount of setups, but it is a bit frustrating when you've gone from having 3 setups a day to struggling to find 1 a day, you know. It's avoiding the losses. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've got to sit. If you're only going to take 3 trades in a week, and you're trading the equivalent of 20 hours, you've got to be patient. Excuse me a second. Yeah, love your live feed every day. Thank you. No, thank you. Of course, I am Mac Trader. But what helped me immensely was incorporating Al Brooks strategies with Mac. I absolutely agree with that. Al Brooks has 15 to 30 trades a day, yeah, on 5 minutes. Yeah, Joel, how you doing? You're a new face, I think. Sounds like you've been sitting in the background, so welcome anyway. But yeah, I did buy Al Brooks's book a couple of weeks ago. I haven't got round to, I think it's, is it trading, price action or trading something? I've got it, hold on, I'll get it. Yeah, trading price action trends, technical analysis and price charts bar by bar for the serious trader by Al Brooks. It's absolutely miniature writing. But yeah, I definitely think it's worth adding extra setups. I call them extra strings to your bow. I mean, with Pats, we trade second entries, higher lows, lower highs, failures, and triple tests. They're the main sort of 4 setups. But if you sat here for 4 hours and you're struggling to see a setup, I definitely think it's worth adding an extra setup to your book. But like you say, Al Brooks, I mean, Al Brooks is the godfather, isn't he, of this sort of stuff. So I'm going to have to start watching him a little bit. Why do you let's have a look. Yeah, new face. Yeah, hey Joel, how you doing then? Nice to have some new faces. Mentioned it earlier, but Daniel's saying he's finding less setups. Is very mentioned it earlier, but Daniel's saying he is finding less setups is very telling. Yeah, I was talking to him on Messenger a couple of 2-3 weeks ago, and he told me he was averaging 3 trades a day a couple of years ago, and now he's averaging 5 a week. So I don't know. Why is the reason that? Is it going to change? Maybe, I don't know. Trouble is, I mean, you say the algorithms, whether it is that, because sort of most of us are retail traders, we don't know enough about the nitty gritty and the nuts and bolts of how these markets work. Well, I certainly don't anyway, and I'm assuming most sort of retail traders like me. But I definitely think it's worth adding extra setups. Like I mentioned, that sort of, bearish bar in an uptrend or vice versa. Maybe worth sort of looking at. I can see it here on this NQ chart here. This channel working up, that bearish bar there, triggered, pushed up. Maybe that one. But it's definitely worth looking at, even just for one-to-one. Trade it small, trade it a contract or, I don't know, a separate account. I think there are 2 other books that go with that, Ranges and something else. Dry reading. Put some coffee on. Yeah. I think you've got to move with the markets, haven't you? With trading, I don't think you can just settle back and tick over. I think you've got to be constantly proactive. In keeping an eye on this, because at the moment you can't trade this. It's hard, isn't it? So, maybe look for other certain setups. Watching behind the scenes, Al Brooks' free website shows recap every day. He shows his trades the next day. Does he show it or does someone else show it? Because I have noticed they say Al Brooks and there's some other guy doing it. I'll tell you what I'll do. Let me have a little look. So what does it come under? Just Al Brooks, does it? It's one L, isn't it? I think Max came from Al Brooks, didn't he? So I definitely think it's worth adding. I think you have to, really. Watching on the scenes, Al Brooks' free website. Let's have a look. What's something on here? Let's just close this down a little bit. Brooks strategy course, is that the one there, is it? Joel, is that what you're talking about there, bud, is it? He does look like your favourite uncle, doesn't he? Or is that more of just the course, I suppose, is it? Free website shows a recap of every day. Is that the one, bud, is it? I have seen. I've got on here. I have seen what Mac looks like. It's nice to have a face to the name, isn't it? Very hard to keep up with his course. Yeah, a lot of people say it's quite in depth and very technical. Joel, when you say the recap every day, he shows his trades the next day. I think it's just a matter of filtering through it, isn't it? I think. Let's have a look. Is this the thing you're on about, is it, bud? These are what I've seen, but it's some guy called Brad Wolf doing it. Does that matter or not really? He just generally does a end of day review. Recap. This chart he posts on his website. So this is his website, it must be, mustn't it? I'm assuming this is it. Blog, anything there? Or is it something like this? Is it second of... Ah, okay. That might be it. Okay, I'm assuming that's it, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to have a flick through. I definitely think it's something you've got to look into and move with it. I think, yeah, I don't think you can just sit back gracefully as a trader, can you? You need to be proactive and move with the times, because times do change. But I think if you trade every day, I mean, I tend to do around about the 3 to 4 hours a day, and I think if you do it every day, you'll generally move along with it. But I think it's always good to educate you, and if there are people like Al Brooks, I think he's too good to ignore, really, isn't he? And like you say, if you find setups, I noticed the market was doing something, as I mentioned, and with the bearish bar, and then all of a sudden it goes up. I noticed it because I was seeing it happen all the time, and apparently it is one of his setups. So I think you'll naturally develop as you go along. Yeah, I mean, there may not be 3 setups a day at the moment. There may be sort of one a day, maybe, or 3 a week. But if I could get 3 winning trades on average a week, I'll be a happy man. But I mean, even if you trade maybe an evaluation with some sort of new setup, or even on minis or micros or something, just to excuse me. Trouble is, it's slowly grinding up. Sometimes I've noticed when it does this, it'll drop quickly. OFC, me as well. Having like 6 points on profit, going to be amazing. I mean, you've got the option to try and go for more. Well, I don't know. It's hard, isn't it, really? It's hard to know what to do, but if I could get three 2 points, if I could end the week on 6 points, I'd be pleased with that, or even 3 points on 20 accounts is like 3. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we hear people earning stupid money. I mean, if I could earn $10,000 a month, I'd be over the moon. And if you could earn that money, then, I suppose you could add to it with your own account, couldn't you? It's not a huge amount of money to earn, really. I mean, if, you have 20 accounts and you average $250 per week on those accounts, there's certainly money to be earned. To add contracts when ready on. You know how to add contracts when already on a trade. I don't know, do you just buy? I'm not sure, to be honest with you. And the main reason is because I generally go for a fixed 2 points, or 2 points to 10 ticks, somewhere around about there. Yeah, I know what you're saying. So you're talking about adding to a winning trade. So if you entered here and you're up here and it comes back and gives you another nice bullish bar or something, you're about adding another contract there and sort of adding as you go up. I think that's what you mean. It just doesn't really fall into my strategy because I go for 2 points. So adding contracts is it just won't really work. I don't 2 points. I mean, it's such a small move, isn't it? But I mean, if you were doing a runner or something, and it may work. But I don't know. Markets just seem to go sideways a lot lately. You don't often get a good run, really. Certainly not on the ES. You don't. But yeah, you don't need a lot of points, really. You don't. It's just we've been sport in the past, haven't we? Getting 3 setups a day, and they literally jump out wave in front of you. But I've had a few years' experience now, so newbies who've been doing it a few months must find it flipping scary. I've got to say, they must find it near damn impossible. I mean, you guys I think a lot of you guys are the same sort of era of me. Started a few years ago, and if we're finding it tough, the newbies haven't got a hope, really, have they? It is tough. So we're back at the EMA now, sat right in the middle line. Nice big bullish bar overlaps that, but it's only a first entry, so it may work. It probably will, but it may trigger it and stop it out. Well, look what it's doing already. So it's just, You can't trade any of this because it's going sideways and up a little bit, but it's given us no clear setups. Just curious as well. Yeah, I mean, without, buying extra contracts, I mean, there's obviously a way, but because I sort of go for 2 points, if I was going for bigger moves, then, it would obviously be something I would be looking into. I don't think it hurts looking at other setups. I wouldn't completely get rid of your strategy. It's taken us long enough to learn this, and when we do get setups, they're pretty reliable. So maybe just add the odd setup to it. If you can add an extra 1 or 2 setups a week, which gives you an extra couple of trades, then, or it might be a case of just trading a bit longer. I tend to average about 3 hours, I think. It may be a case of having a break and coming back for another couple of hours. Yeah, it's hard to know what to do when prices like this, just very slow. And so the trouble is, Mac will say sometimes, every time it comes back to the EMA, you can just go long and it works. Now, obviously, you can't do that. I think he's making a point of saying every time it comes back here, off it goes. And I mean, if you look at that particular bar there, it's sat right on the EMA. It's bouncing off the top of this, and it's also sat right on the middle line. So if the market's going to go up some more, something like that wouldn't be a bad way to go. But it's not within my setup, so I can't just randomly buy it. Now, not only that, we've got a sort of a double top here, so you just don't know what's going to happen. Guarantee you'll see that you'll sit back and watch this go up. The second you decide to jump in, I don't know how it works, but it seems to stitch you up. You lose your patience and think, oh, I'll get in here, it's a nice bullish bar. Market's got a way of stitching you up. It really has. It's very clever at taking people's money. So, I've learnt really over the last few years, you just need to wait for an obvious setup. You can't second guess the market. You can't gamble with the market. You'll get it right, maybe once or twice in 10, but you can't make money on a 20% win rate strategy. And I've learnt you go back 7 or 8, 10 months, I'd see it going up, and I'd just, I'll get in here. I don't want to miss this move. Guaranteed, goes up a couple of ticks and stops you out. And you do learn the hard way after a while, after a shit ton of money and a lot of frustration. You just have to sit there until a trade jumps out and waves in front of you, and then you take it and commit and move on. Unfortunately, we don't get a lot of waving trades lately. So I think I've got to start reading some Al Brooks and maybe finding a setup which is relatively easy to follow. I mean, once you can work out what the market's doing and you understand what the market's doing, I think it's a lot easier to add extra setups. You don't need to go back to the drawing board like a beginner trader just because it's a new strategy. We already got 3 years experience on how these markets work. It's just noticing a setup and trying to stick to it and maybe back test it. But it does get a little annoying, really, when you sit here for such a long time, day after day, and just grinding up very slowly. As we say, there is some pound news in around about 45 minutes, so nothing you can really do, unfortunately. So maybe we get a leg and a leg. Trouble is, we seem to be flattening off here, and at some point you just don't know. I've added this here as a possible channel. I think it's likely we are working within this top tier at the moment, but at some point it could just drop and maybe come down to this and test this area. It's so hard to say really. At the moment we are working within this top tier. If this is a channel, I think it probably is, and part of the reason why I think it is because we're working really nicely off that off the midline. So I'd say probably a bar like that is about as solid as you can get, but the trouble is it's so slow. I mean, if you're going to take a rough stab in the dark, that will probably not be a bad place to start, but it could just, you just don't know, do you? We do seem to be flattening off there, which concerns me. If we do this enough, I won't be surprised if you have a quick flush down. What do you use to copy trade? Me personally, I use Replicanto. This is it here. It's the best I've found. I started with Apex is one, but I just had problem after problem, and I absolutely love this, to be honest with you. I've been using this for about 8 months now, and you just don't get problems. You get updates regularly. Usually you get an update or two every couple of weeks. My opinion, it's the only one I choose to use. If anybody is interested in buying one of them, there I have got a 20% off code up there, UKFT20. Well, say Lance, are you trading only evals today? No, mate. PAs, trading 2 PAs at the moment. You can see it there. There's me one PA, and the other one is copied. What was I saying? How much was it? Was, I think it went up recently to $200. It was $150, and I'm pretty sure I had an email saying this was back in, I think it was September or November, that it was going up to, I think, $200. Now my code will get you $40 off, so it's about $160. But if you're going to trade multiple accounts, you obviously need something. I believe there is a piece of software that does, there is a platform that does it. I think it's what's it called? I can't remember. But no. If you're trading multiple accounts, you need a trade copier of sorts. There probably is more out there, but this is, I think this is probably the most widely used. The difference with Apex and Replicanto is Flowbots. Flowbots are software people, so you generally expect their products to be a little bit more reliable. So it's what I use anyway, and it's I never have any problems with it. You have a link to that tool. There might be one in the description, bud, but failing that, just go on to just Google. I'll find it for you. I'll Google. It's Flowbots, isn't it? I'll find it for you. That's it there. Flowbots, and you are looking for. I think That's it. Replicanto. Well, been a while since I've been on here. You just need it for one. I think it's one machine. You can trial it. But I don't want that much remote credit. What does that mean? Remote credit. Let's have a look in here. Replicanto, select options. Here we go. Single machine lifetime. $199. So if you add that to cart and you put, I've got a code UKFT capitals and then 20, it give you 20% off. So take it down to 160. But that's it. So Flowbots, and you're looking for Replicanto. But it's a great bit of software. I think most of the guys in here, I think, can use it. Can you paste it in the chat? I don't think it'll let me. Let me have another go. For some reason, it won't. I don't think it does that. Let me have a look. Let me give it a go. There we go. Job done. I didn't think I could do that. There we go. My code is, that's if you use, but you don't have to use anybody's code, but mine is UKFT capitals and then 20. But I do stand by it. I don't have anything on my screen that I don't use myself. You do get approached by people from time to time. You're welcome, bud. You're welcome. But I absolutely put my hand on it. I use it, as you can see, I use it myself. I did start off with the Apex one, but it was a nightmare. It scared the shit out of me. It put me off, really. But I have had no problems in the 8 months I've been using it. And as I say, you get updates regularly. Yeah, best of luck with it, bud. Any questions using it? I've been using it long enough now. There's all sorts you can do on it. But it is a good bit of software, especially, I mean, you need something to trade multiple accounts. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Remote credit lets you copy a trade to a different network. Oh, I got you. Okay. On home network, Ninja Trader running. I got you. Okay. And incidentally, there is some more software if anybody's interested. I was about to buy it myself. It's called, I think most of you guys know, it's called Guardian Angel Trader. And what it does is it effectively gives you the tools to stop you revenge trading. So you can set certain parameters. In fact, let me just grab it on the screen, because it'll be useful. It'll be a lifesaver to some people. I think it's GAT, isn't it? Is that there? Yeah. This is it here, this bit. This is a lifesaver to some people. I decided to buy it because I was having problems with revenge trading. And after I decided to buy it, something seemed to change in my head and I stopped revenge trading. So just the fact that I was able to do it, or able to have it. Let me have a look. There is a video which shows you. Where's the video? I won't play it, but I'll show you some of the... Let me take it off screen a minute. I'll find it. There's 2 legs back there and a bullish bar. It is a second entry long. This is very
Order
tempting.
submitted.
Let me just see how this finishes. Not much room to the lows, but we have got 2 legs. Come back and get me.
Order submitted.
Okay. I usually like getting out by the tops, but we've got 1 leg, 2 legs, so I think it's worth a go. Scroll past it. Yeah, I'll get it in a sec. We're moving up there. We got 1 leg back, 2 legs back. Bullish bar. It's a second entry long. Just going for 8 ticks. I don't usually like going long into these, but we have had 2 legs back. It's not a massive risk. Was it 2.5 point risk, isn't it? Yeah, 2.5 point risk. Let's see if I can find it. There is 2 legs back and a rejection. Leg and a leg. And it is a second entry long also. Sometimes if you see them, you've just got to go for them. I'll give that an extra tick because there's a strong bullish bar there, and sometimes on the odd occasion it'll take you out for a tick and push up and it won't come past there, so we'll have to see. Too close to the highs. Yeah, I mean, it's quite a strong day, isn't it? So it is close to the highs, I agree, but sometimes you'll see these and then they'll just continue pushing again. So sometimes I'll see this and I'll see Marco or Mac Markham very close to highs when we've had 2 legs back, and they still mark them. So I don't know. I mean, we've got 2 perfect legs down. It's come right down here and pushed up on that line. So, and it's also a second entry long as well. So it's just one of those things, isn't it? Sometimes we don't see a massive amount of setups nowadays. So sometimes if you see something, you've just got to try and go for it. If it stops me out, it is what it is. Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. But that looks quite a nice strong bar, and that does as well. So if we can get above here, then I'd say we're probably going to hit there, because there's probably going to be some stops. Triple test there. So if we can get above here, I think we're probably okay. Trouble is, if I come back later and it's up here, and you see people mark these, yeah, I don't think it's terrible. It is a little congested, but I have heard people say you can trade congestion as long as you know what's going on. So we'll see. Excuse me, sorry about that. Sniffing down the thing. I mean, it's still working on that midline relatively well, so you just, I don't know, sometimes I think, don't think about it. If you see a setup, just take it. But it does look like, well, I've done the measured legs. It's two perfect measured legs back. We've got a nice strong bar there and a nice strong bar there. So we need to get above that one particularly and that one. If we can get above there, the lower high, and then this one, I think we're golden. Too close to the news. Well, the news is about 30 minutes away. 25, 30 minutes away yet. So I think we're okay. And he's talking, isn't he? So I think we're okay. So there's that extra tick. See if it makes a difference. It's frustrating. You see all this and you see a setup, you take it and it takes you out. Doesn't seem to matter what you do nowadays. Chart lagging. There will be a slight difference between mine and yours. We'll see. 1 bar behind. Yeah, I mean, I have it on ultra low latency, which I believe is a couple of seconds behind, something like that. It's not much.
Stop filled.
Yeah, that's frustrating. It is a second entry long off here, but it just doesn't seem to matter what you do lately. You sit here patiently all day and you get some form of a setup and it just takes you out now. Yeah, well, I have been stopped out, yeah. Yeah, I suppose going into the top there. Well, I mean, even if there was enough room to get out there, but it didn't do anything. It is frustrating. Market's hard lately. Price action's crap. Trouble is, you just don't know. Sometimes it'll just push up to here, break above there, and rock it. It's just one of those things sometimes. Do you miss it? Or not, you know? My PAs, I got one $1,000 and one at just under $1,400 now after that loss. Well, triple test, yeah, I'd have preferred that one to break above there. But another thing, when you're in a sort of an uptrend, sometimes it'll trigger people into going short and then push up and stop them out. So, so minus 2.75 points. Sometimes I see this setup go by and it'll work and it'll continue to rock it up, and a lot of times I'll leave it. So sometimes you just got to go for it. But the trouble is, I mean, if we'd have got above there, a tick or so above there, and then above here, then I'd have suggested we'd have probably gone up. But it doesn't seem to matter what you do. Sometimes you get into a trade, it'll just trigger you and stop you out. Sometimes it doesn't. Doesn't get you paid. Yeah, sometimes they'll work, sometimes they won't. But the trouble is, we're hardly seeing a setup lately. We really are. Never took a trade all day yesterday, and sometimes after a while you think, do I have a go at it? I mean, it is a second entry long. I like the way it came right the way down and then pushed up strong. I'd say there's going to be some shorts trapped there. And then when we had that bar and it started pushing up, I thought, once we get above here, we're okay. But sometimes it's just, that's how it works. See, going short there for me would be counter trend trading. So I thought it's going to trap some shorts and then push up. That was my sort of thought process. One PA produces perfect setup for later interest. Yeah. You just never quite know sometimes. I mean, that started pushing up quite solid then we triggered above it and came down. But if we'd have gone up a few more ticks, it could have been a whole new story. Yeah, I know it's riskier going into there, but I like the fact that we had 2 legs back. Bit of a rejection off there. I like the way it was sitting. I mean, if you sort of go with something like that, we got a touch. We're still in there. We seem to be working up like this. So if we could get above there, I think it would have been okay. But it's just one of those things, isn't it? You went long at 52.74. You went long here, did you, somewhere? Yeah. Let's see what happens when we get down to here. Excuse me, just for a quick minute. Okay. See what we get a reaction here. Says it's 10 past on mine. I'm not sure actually. Oh, Changed everything. Oh, absolutely, yeah. Oh, look, so chart back and forth with 5 minutes, 15 minutes using our Brooks, and then about Apex. So that's what he trades mainly, does he? The 5 minute chart. What is that on the NQ or the ES? Is it, Joel? NQ. 5 minute on the NQ. Let's have a look at it. Yeah, I'm going to have to look into a bit of Brooks. Yes. I don't know. Joel's just put NQ. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think there is a bigger channel. I think that's just what it was. Yeah, I know what you're saying, bud. I know what you're saying. Okay, Pal's about to speak, I think. It's at Stanford University, I think, isn't it? Yeah, he's on here now, I think. Stanford University, I think. General Powell gives keynote address. Stanford University, it is live. ERP, how you doing? I think so. I think so. I don't know. How do you check? How do you check? Let's have a look. Yeah, that's not it, is it? Have a look. I don't know how to check. I think I am. Oh, Sam, how you doing, buddy? Long time no see. How you doing, mate? Oh, excuse me just a second. Sorry about that. Yeah. Okay, he's just coming on now to speak. Not sure how long this goes on for. Anybody? Anyone on any ideas? Just chatting away here at the moment. I might knock up there now. I'm just coming up 3 hours. Powell's talking now. I don't know how long he's going to chat for, but it's just, I don't know, it's a bit frustrating and a bit boring today. I'm down well anyway. It's just one of those things. Not the best place, I don't think, but you just don't know sometimes. Sometimes it'll just keep going, and you miss out. But don't know what's going on there, whether there's a bigger channel there or not. It's always possible. And if there is, could likely push up. Okay, I'm going to knock on the head there for today, guys. I'm just a bit bored. It's really slow at the moment. So that's it for today. Down one trade today. It happens sometimes. I'm just going to walk away now. So if you carry on trading today, I hope you get a setup. Failing that, I will see you same time tomorrow. So I appreciate all the comments. So have a great evening. Stay safe. And I will chat to you all again tomorrow. Bye for now.